All right, welcome everybody to our Google Hangout. I'm Leah, and Rachel and Allie are here with me, and today we'll be discussing a few tools. Can't talk. So I'm going to start. I have two tools, Formule and Kahoot, and I'm going to start with Kahoot. This tool is everyone's really familiar with it, so we're not going to go too in depth about it. But I'm just going to screen share, and I'm going to walk through it, and you guys are going to have something that you're going to complete on it. Can everybody see my screen? Can you
Yep,
guys?
it's good now.
What that was. All right, so Kahoot, I've already logged on to mine, and I've created a Kahoot for you guys. So, I mean, you guys know what the quiz, and we could go through discussion, but it's basically the same concept. Today, I created a survey for you guys to complete. Just go up here. It's about favorites.
Okay. Do you want us to get our phones out?
Yeah, you guys
Okay.
are gonna play this. Um, So for anybody that does watch this that doesn't know what's going on, Kahoot just is how do I turn the sound down on this?
Oh, we can't hear the sound.
Okay, good. So anyone that can see this, we're just going over a tool that can be used for students to play a game and answer questions and make it fun in class. All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
All right, so it's about favorites. What is your favorite season? I like this one because you can add really cool pictures on them.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
What is your favorite type of movie?
Does it not show you the response after every single one?
Mm-mm. I'm assuming it shows a graph at the end of all the answers. When I tried to go through it, it wouldn't show me, so I'm gonna kind of do a new test run.
It's probably because this has, like, not necessarily correct answers,
Yeah,
unlike the multiple choice ones.
yeah. I'm sure it'll just show a graph at the end. I'm gonna find out.
Hey, that's a mean question.
All right. I want to see the results. I don't know if it'll let me see the results. Guess I'm gonna have to figure that out another time
Well,
because
why don't you click on it and it says save results?
let me see if we download them. See if you guys can see this.
I can see it.
If it downloads, we're gonna see our results of our favorites.
An
Mm-hmm.
Excel document.
That's nice that it's compatible with Microsoft tools.
Yeah.
And also, it looks like it's compatible with Google Drive.
If it ever loads. Let's see. Oh, cool. So it shows what you guys have answered, and I mean, this would be cool for teachers. They can go on and like make graphs for the students to see.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
a
I
really
think I
fast.
find that really cool because if you look, it totally has everybody's name already in the column and the questions, and it set up the entire chart for you. That is really neat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it'd be a great tool, like an instant in class. Look what everyone said. Really simple.
That would be
Okay.
like really cool for doing warm-ups for like math lessons or something. You could have the question in the survey format, see what students answer, see what students answer what, and you might want to keep that part private for your own. Like you don't want to display that since it has everybody's name up there, but I think it'd be cool to see, okay, like do the students understand this type of math problem? If not, let's go back and figure out what they don't understand.
Yeah, that
Well,
is cool.
I think another application could be with lunch choices in the morning. Try to get the kids, especially with schools that use iPads all the time. The kids have the iPads in their hand from the start of the day to the end of the day. Um, have the kids make their lunch choices on there. Then it physically goes into a database and you can see what the kids pick, because I know a lot of classrooms now they use like the little magnets on the board, and one kid bumps into the board and all the names are skewed to the wrong side, and then you don't know who picked what lunch choice. So this is a much more accurate way to keep track of not just that kind of information, but any kind.
That fits in with the nutrition lesson that you guys just did.
Yeah, everything's tied to nutrition. Winner, winner. All right. So, do you guys have any more questions about Kahoot? I think we're all really familiar with it.
Be able to,
What is ghost mode?
Let's see. I wonder if it just hides who you guys are. So, I don't really know. I guess it just adds extra players or hides who you are so no one can see and only the teacher can see. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Hit start and see what happens, because it's telling me on my screen it's back to you're in.
Oh, same.
I guess we'll see.
Should we pick different answers and see what happens?
Yeah, just play around with it. I wonder what it's doing though. I wonder if it's like an anonymous. That's weird. It's giving 4 answers each time instead of 2.
Well, okay, so I've been picking different ones this time, and they've been showing up, and then like my previous choices from last time are showing up too.
I wonder what it's going to do on Excel when you open it back up. You know what's different about that one? It gave the results at the end of each one. The other one didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it really did.
I'm not sure.
Maybe the results don't show if you like choose ghost because it don't look like it had data for the.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's because that ghost mode isn't available on like the quiz section, so that's.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wonder if it's like computer or like saved answers, and like if people change their answer, you can see, compare. I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Alright.
All right, so now we're going to head over to Formule. And I really want to play this video for you guys because it explains it a lot better, I think, than I could. So up here, they have a feature tour, and I want to share this video with you, and I'm hoping that you guys are going to be able to hear it. Let me know if you can. No. That's not what I wanted. Can you guys hear it? Okay. Well, maybe I'll just share it with you guys at another time. So basically what they talk about in the video is that instead of having to share data and create your own charts for people to answer, it's kind of like what we did in class that one time. You guys remember how we had, we made like a survey for parents to take?
Google
It's kind
Form.
of like that. But it's different. Like this is really like completely set up for you, and you get to choose different things that you want to do with it. So I'm just going to go through this website. But I think it's kind of a cool thing. Let me go back up to, here. So this page, you don't have to pay anything for Formule. The only difference from free to these plans is that, you know, you can have users, so you can, like, if you have other people that you're working with, you can invite them into a certain form so they can edit it, or you can just make them an administrator on your account. And they give you tons of forms and reports for it, and I'm not entirely sure what some of these other things are, like rules. But if you want to just do free, the only difference with the free is that instead of getting all these forms and reports, you get 10 forms, 5 reports, 2 themes, 5 rules, 100 entries, and just 1 user, and 10 megabytes of storage. And when you sign up for Formule, I was going to sign up and make one for you guys to look at, but when I tried to sign up, it wouldn't let me get in. It was like taking a really long time to send me the confirmation email, and it was kind of being a little glitchy. But with it being free, like it's not like you have to sign up and they take your credit card information like a lot of sites. And I think that's one of the cool things about it, because a lot of sites ask you for your credit card information even if you're not paying for anything. But if you end up wanting to change to a plan, you can change it at any time. You don't have to re-sign up, or I think it's a pretty cool tool to use. Something I really like about it also is that you can cancel it literally at any time. You're not like stuck in it, especially like if you get a plan, you can stop doing it at any time. It's not like a cell phone where you have to be in it for a long time. I didn't really have too much more about it. I really wanted to show you guys one, but they didn't really have any. In the video that I was going to show you, he shows down further an example of some. So I'll just let you guys watch the video. You can't hear it, but I'll just talk to you guys about it. So he's going to show, like, these are kind of forms that you can create, like customer satisfaction, like type of surveys, wedding invitations. And I think it's pretty cool. Like, you get so many options for what kind of forms you want to build. And on top of that, it is really great because once you create this form, if you want to know when someone answers your form, you can set it up to get either a text message about it, you can get an email to your email account if you want to. So there's a lot of different features about it that make it really cool for teachers to use, and I think this is one of those things that we could put on our websites and replace the other form that we put on there instead of using that one. And I don't know, I really like this one. I think it'd be great for teachers to use with their students.
I think this would be cool for like maybe older grades, like thinking fourth grade, fifth grade, where you could have it set up each week where you ask a couple short answer questions and they can just answer the short answer questions. You can see what they want, what they say. Maybe you're testing comprehension on a book you're reading as a class. Like I know fourth grade reads Shiloh that we just read in our class. You can do short answer questions to make sure they comprehend what they were reading, stuff like that.
Yeah. And if you
What I was
hadn't,
gonna
go ahead.
what I was gonna say though is just I'm thinking for the survey purposes, thinking about not necessarily a survey, I guess. They had like the wedding invitation example and they had the birthday party invitation example. I think that would work really well with parent-teacher conferences. You have the kids take home the form for parent-teacher conferences and 90% of them go missing because either they don't make it home in the backpack or the parent loses the paper. With this, you could literally send it through an email and make sure that the email gets directly to the parent. As long as you've had email correspondence all year, then this should be able to work. So I feel like I saw in the wedding invitation, it gave the option to, it said like location, time, number of guests, I guess. So I think that's really key is to have, I don't know, it opens up the gateway for parents instead of just checking off a box that I'll be there at X time. You could put in their comments or things you could have like I don't know if this works the same way as Google Forms, that you could have like a drop-down menu with options in it. And then the parents could pick different options that they have interest in talking to the teacher about. So I think that's just one side application.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I really liked about it is how you can have different users. So if you're collaborating with somebody about it, you can let them come in and edit it, or they can just be an administrator with you. So you can share it with, like, if you're in a group for, like, say you're in the math department and you want to share with your entire department, you can just all be in there and create stuff together instead of having to go back and forth with it.
I agree.
Anybody have any questions about mine? I know this was really shortcut for them.
I don't think so.
All right, well then, Allie, I'll let you go ahead with yours.
All right, so my tool is eMaze, and it's presentation software, pretty much just like Prezi or PowerPoint with or Google PowerPoint. Is that what it's called for Google? The PowerPoint
I think it's
thing?
Google Slides, right?
Yeah,
Slides. So there's just like Google Slides, Prezi, PowerPoint for Microsoft, except for it's called eMaze. So let me just screen share really quick and just hop in and show you what it looks like. Okay. So here it is. This is once you log in, it's free to use. There's also like upgraded versions of the software that just have more things that you pay for basically. Um, I liked it a lot more than Prezi, honestly. Like I felt like it was a lot easier to use. So all you have to do, this is a PowerPoint I made using the software.
Looks like it has more features than Prezi does.
Yeah, I just feel like it's a lot easier to
It's
use than Prezi too. So this is a template that I chose. It's a chalkboard template. I thought it was really cute for education majors. But so this is so what is Amaze? Like I just said, it's presentation software, free to use, similar to Prezi. The only difference is I find it easier to use, and then also there's more templates. I feel well, it's not necessarily that there's more templates. I just feel like the templates fit in better for what I would want to use them for. Like I really like this chalkboard template. I didn't see anything like that on Prezi. For how I could use this in a classroom, I was thinking back to the ISTE standards from MTTS assignments that we did. Communication and collaboration. You're using a digital tool to present information, creativity and innovation. You're creating original works using presentation software, so that's a way you could use Amaze. Does anybody else have any ideas?
I think not seeing the rest of the templates, but as smoothly as this runs without being an actual software, I think all of us have talked about how clunky we think that Prezi can be. This seems to run smoother already, and from what you're saying, it is smoother. So this would work with kids that maybe the school doesn't have the full suite of Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
I highly doubt it. 99% of schools have it. But it could be used for that because it's online based, or it could be used for kids at home. Let's say they have, we talked about sent the I forget what company it was, but they sent the Chromebooks home or they send the Wi-Fi home. Kids could be able to use this software instead of something like Prezi that might be clunky. This seems a little more kid friendly.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem so, I don't know if I want to say professional or business like Prezi is. But again, I don't know how you create them, so that's really your experience, Allie.
It's honestly like I think it's closer to like Microsoft PowerPoint in terms of like you add slides by clicking the add slide button, and it had like pre-made slides. So let me try to go into edit here. Sorry,
I just want to add, I like the idea that it's slide based. I think Prezi has a neat idea with it being more like it's a visual art piece by
yeah.
the end, but I think sometimes that distracts from the information. So I think, at least for kids, this might be a little more simplistic.
So if I like wanted to add a slide here for this particular template, it has all these like pre-made slides. So like because it's a chalkboard theme, it tends to have yeah. So it has like all these cute little pre-made things that are like math and English language arts related, just already made. And it's really easy to like just add stuff. So I could click this button to add text, title, numbers, images. I can upload images, media, same thing. And then they have all these like pre-made shapes.
It almost seems like it's has so many more features than Prezi, because I feel like when I was using Prezi, it was this is what you have, this is what you're stuck with. You don't really have the ability to go out of what they've already created for you. But this seems like you can create just about anything off of it instead of having to be so cut and dry and be stuck with what you have already chosen.
Yeah, I
I
just
definitely agree with that. I get so frustrated with Prezi and the like the one that I actually created for this that we'll look at in a minute. It was set up that it was a spiral, and it only had 5 options in the spiral. So I had to come up with an extra bubble, quote unquote, to fill with information because the template's set up the way that it is. I can't change it.
Yeah, I just feel like this is a lot easier. I get frustrated using Prezi, quite honestly. Like, I'll click something and it'll bounce somewhere else, and this you just have to arrow tab over, and it's not hard to do. I just feel like it's a lot more user-friendly. And I mean, if we're having trouble using something like Prezi, then our students are probably definitely going to have trouble using it. So as far as like relating it to placement, I've seen the intern that I was working with in my classroom. She was using Prezi with our class a lot for the Iditarod lessons that she was doing. Like she had Iditarod information posted on slides talking about what happens with the Iditarod, and I would rather use this than use Prezi to do something like that. I mean, the kids didn't seem to have too much trouble navigating it, but I would. Sorry, I just want to make sure you guys are still there. I couldn't
Yeah.
hear you. And then for possible obstacles in the classroom, I really I think it would be more of a help than an obstacle, honestly. Like the only obstacles I could potentially see would be like if students didn't have very developed computer skills, they might have trouble using it. But I also I think it's really good because, you know, with like if you're using Microsoft PowerPoint, you save it onto the computer. This, you make an account online so you can access it from home.
Yeah, I think it's probably better for students than Prezi. It seems like it's more simplistic and workable, especially if they're familiar with PowerPoint.
Already.
I think that this fits a lot more with PowerPoint than Prezi did.
Yeah, I think like
Well,
really the only comparison
go
to
ahead,
Prezi
Allie.
is that it's online.
The only thing I was going to say, two things. First of all, Allie, you were talking about being able to access it from anywhere instead of just at the school. I think, and I remember this from just being in high school, there were so many issues always with getting your documents to save onto the servers at the school. You know, you put it in the Dropbox, and then all of a sudden it's on the Dropbox on one computer, but it's not in the Dropbox on the other. And then I know now they use Google Drive a lot, like same as we do, but there's still some of the glitchiness with this. Maybe young kids, you don't want to have a Gmail account, you know, you don't want them to have an email connected account. This could be, although it requires an email to sign in, they could use a parent email, or they could all have an they could all log in under a teacher's account under an email, and then the teacher would literally have access to every single one of uh, the presentations. And then the second thing that I was going to say was, I think just from looking at the little bit of the editing screen that we saw, it's a little more simplistic than PowerPoint because PowerPoint is a sophisticated piece of business software. I mean, it's used all across the globe. I think it has a lot more advanced features, and kids might be a little overwhelmed. And this is just so, you know, here, put in a slide. Here, put in and it's just, and it's kid friendly. It seems a little more, it seems less in depth than PowerPoint to me, at least.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to turn screen share off. There we go. All right, so that's all I had for you guys.
Definitely like that one better than Prezi, and
Yeah.
it's like PowerPoint online almost, but a little bit more of options on it.
Yeah.
Alrighty, my turn. Okay, so I had two. The first one we're going to go to, I absolutely loved. It was so fun. It's called Zaption. So let's get this up here. Okay, can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, so here's my Prezi feels a little lackluster now.
I'm sorry. Maybe
No, I'm gonna use that emaze from now on. Okay, so what are we gonna discuss? I said we're gonna discuss Zaption and then something called Electron inks. So Zaption is a pretty cool and creative way to make interactive videos for project-based learning. Basically, you take your just any YouTube video that you find, so whether it's a documentary or some kind of educational video, you incorporate or add that to the Zaption software. It's an online software. It does require some weird kind of login type stuff. It had some paid versions too, so I didn't really want to get into making one, but I found a bunch of examples for us. But either way, you add questions to the videos. What's really neat is they pop out on a sidebar. So you're going along in the video, and it doesn't pause. It doesn't stop the video, but you'll see in a minute there's little sidebars that come out, and then there's questions. You can incorporate lots of different things. That can be definitions, key ideas, questions, any number of things that you want students to remember from that moment of the video. And the student does have to pause the point at that point in the video if they do want to continue on. So I probably would use this as like a introduction or a review lesson instead of really a content lesson. But before we talk about how it would be used, let me go out here and show you this cool example. I don't know, I know I've subjected Leah to listening to this like 5 times because they're so funny. There's this YouTube channel called Crash Course History, and it's this really funny guy. Now, tell me if you can hear this because you might not be able to.
You can hear a little bit.
You can hear it a little bit. That means it's just my mic that's picking up. Let me see here because I want you to hear it because that's the funny part is him talking. But let me see. How do you get
You'd
audio?
probably have to unplug your headset, and that probably wouldn't be a good idea. So.
I thought there was a way though that you could have the audio play through the computer. Like maybe not. Maybe not, maybe not, maybe not. I don't know. Okay, let's see if this works. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Allie, can you hear her?
No, I can't. I can't.
Hmm. Well,
What did she do to mess with the sound? Well, I mean, we could just have a little conversation while she figures that out. We can talk about Zaption a little bit. Already I was thinking that it kind of reminded me of ThingLink a little bit, except for it's a video instead of an image. I thought it would be like good to use like a social studies. Well, I mean, obviously it's good for social studies. That's the example she was about to show us was like a social studies video, but I think it would be good to have like if there's vocabulary your kids don't know that you're introducing in like a new social studies unit, you could have like the little sidebar there. Or if there's like important figures, can you not hear me either? Oh, okay. Um, that would be good. And so like historical figures, you could have like a link that pops up on the sidebar of the video or something like that.
sorry, I've been muted. Yeah, I agree. I think that it's such a cool, like, this can be created before class, and I feel like that's kind of a helpful hint for, like, helpful tool for teachers to
Mhm.
create something really cool that, it's still engaging for students. I didn't really pick up too much about it yet since we have technical difficulties now, but I think it'd be really cool to just use with in class and have students, even like you could send it home with them almost,
Yeah, it
like if
could
it's
be
like a
access on
snow
your.
day type thing, you could send it to them and be like, hey, don't want you guys to miss out. Here, just watch what I've created.
You could put on your Wix website for your students.
Or for parents too. Like if you wanted to talk to them but couldn't meet face to face and you want to be more personal with them, you could be like, no, you're muted. You could be a little bit more like one-on-one personal with them, like show them, walk them through some things.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, Raquel is back.
No more messing with the sound.
Hold on. Now I'm stuck. I'm stuck.
Alrighty. So that's a little bit of
This is what happens with technology. What is going on? Okay, there we go. Okay.
Now we're back.
So let me give y'all another rundown of Zaption here. Sorry about that. No idea what happened. Okay, so right here is, am I still screen sharing? Nope, it turned it off. Screen share, screen share.
There we go.
Okay, now we're back. All right, so you see here, this is he's in the middle of talking, and I paused the video, but it normally would not pause here. But you see the text on the side over here. It's a question that says, what was the main goal of the Dutch who bought New Amsterdam from the Lenape Indians? And if you look down at the bottom here, there is a bar where each of these little inserts come up, and they have a certain amount of time that they're left on the screen. So like the bar is when it first appears. See, what was the main goal of the Dutch who bought the New Amsterdam from the Lenape Indians? And you can put a timer on how long they're on the screen. And then, so you have another one over here. That's a question. What was Penn's main reason for founding Pennsylvania? So it's guided, and then this one's a definition. The definition of a Quaker is a Protestant Christian that has strong nonviolent beliefs. So it continues on, and then you see in the beginning it kind of starts slow with questions, and then at the end it gets a little heavier. So there's another definition of dysentery, Bacon's Rebellion. So I like it because it kind of is a way to promote guided, it's like guided reading, but with video. So that is that one.
That's kind of close to the book builder on UDL, a little
Yes.
bit at least.
It's like Book Builder, but with
Video.
video instead. So that's what I said. I said a teacher can include many different types of prompts. The ability to include ongoing questions allows students to keep up and stop when needed. This is allows a lot for differentiation, I think, because there's kids that can just blow right through and answer the questions as they go. Kids that like to be doing something while they're, kids that like to multitask. I think we all listen to music or watch TV or something, even though we shouldn't. While we're doing our homework. So I think this would kind of keep those kids entertained. You're not only just having them fill out a worksheet, you're having them be involved with some kind of video or multimedia. And then I said there's definitions for difficult words. And students with learning disabilities who have can have audio and visual representations of what they need to know. Gifted students can watch different videos of varying difficulties. So pretty much this is as vast as you want to make it because it's just as vast as the internet. So
Before you go on, I thought about something that'd be really cool if, like, with all of that, like when you used to be in class and teachers would, like you said, give a worksheet, and instead of like having to we would just watch a movie and we'd have to fill out the worksheet as we go, and we would miss so many things, and I'd be looking at other people's papers like, what'd you get? Because I completely missed it, and I feel like that's so much better because they can do it on their own, and they can stop it if they need to make sure they're getting what they need instead of missing in the future being like, oh, well, turn it in for a grade,
I agree entirely. That's genius.
You're also getting those cues, like if you wanted the questions in the video, you're getting those cues, hey, you need to pay attention because this is coming up.
The only thing that I kind of wish, I know it's pretty like in your face visual, it pops up on this half of the screen and it's just like, bam, I'm a question, I'm right here. I wish that they maybe included like a ding or a sound or something goofy, and you might even be able to, like I said, I wasn't going to get into creating an account because they did want a credit card information and all that stuff. But yeah, that would be the only thing that I think I would add. So after Zaption, we have Electron Inks. It's a company that creates modules for science lessons. These specific modules relate to electronics and relate to circuit creation. I know a lot of kids, usually starting around 4th or 5th grade, they start experimenting with simple circuits, batteries, and lights, and 2 wires, and that kind of thing. So some of their electronic modules include power, which are batteries and USB power adapters. There's inputs, so basically you put a switch into the circuit. And there's connectors, so adapters and connection cables to hook up various different elements. And then there's output, which are like LED lights, buzzers, and motors. Now, the really cool thing about this is that these modules are all created with something that looks pretty much just like a pencil you're holding in your hand. The students, they create these on paper. They're literally drawn on paper, and the pen has conductive ink in it. I honestly have never seen anything like that, and it amazes the heck out of me. And this one, I'd really like to show you guys an example, but I didn't want to invest $300 in some technology. So instead, I'm going to play this video. I don't think the audio is going to play since we're having so many issues with the audio, but it might surprise me. Is it playing? Do you have audio?
No, but don't worry about it.
Okay.
Circuits are the building blocks of our modern world. They light our houses, and they're in our cars, computers, and cell phones. But building simple circuits still looks like this, or like this.
Okay, so I'm going to pause and I'm going to walk you through what she's saying. What she's explaining is that circuits are a part of our everyday world, and especially in a community where it's so much related to STEM. And, you know, we have no way of getting away from circuits or understanding them because everything we have is connected by electricity. And so she's pointing out that today in our schools, we still show kids that circuits work like this. So we're teaching our kids that circuits are a battery and a wall that connects to a light bulb, and then we all know that's not how it goes at all. This right here is a battery and a light bulb setup, and then this here is what's called a breadboard, and they're typically used. So basically, Electronics, their company, designed a better way to teach kids this. So. Okay, so what you see here, she's literally, and she says this, she says it's literally as simple as doodling on a sheet of paper. What she's drawing here is the circuit, you know, where you would hook up wires to batteries and clips and alligator clips is now just draw it on the paper. And I find that really cool.
So we invented circuits, the world's first ballpoint pen that draws electric circuits.
Whoop, didn't want to freeze on his face. It is really cool. So this is what it would look like in a kid's notebook. Literally, this would stay in their notebook. The way that this light stays on the paper is there's a magnet underneath. So the light goes on top, and then a magnet goes underneath, and then it clips into the paper. And the kids, I mean, this part up here where there's, whoops, I touched my touchscreen laptop. This part up here where you see all the lines that kind of look like buildings, that is literally just drawn for aesthetic effects. It has nothing to do with anything. The kids just draw what they want. And I think that's also really, really neat because you can have kids, and there's an example later, I think, they draw like a teddy bear and you can give it eyes. You drew the teddy bear out of the pen with the circuits, and then the circuit runs to his eyes and it lights them up because you made a circuit. And it's pretty neat. So
I have a question before you go on.
Go ahead.
Does that just last? Like they don't have to redraw it, it just stays on the paper and it's good to go for whenever they want to use?
Yep. It's the type of ink that they used. It's water-based. They talk about, in a minute, you'll see there's 3 examples of a pen. They show other types of electronic ink pens, and some of them you have to let dry like 24 hours before you can use them. This technology you can literally use as soon as you write it, and you can use it for as long as you need to.
Is there copper in the ink, or what's in the ink?
Oh, that I do not know. They don't really explain.
Okay.
It's kind of like a secret recipe. All they call it is a metal conductive ink.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's metal flake ink or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't want to see people talk about this? Okay. Here, this is the part. Okay, this is what they're talking about. This is competitor number 1, and see how it kind of draws something that looks like a wire, and you have to wait for it to dry for like 24 hours. Same thing with this one, and then this one is a Circuit Scribe, which is what Electron Inks calls their pen. It's called Circuit Scribe. So you'll see how that happens. They're made of ink. And I actually discussed with my dad, who is his job involves a lot of electronics, and I was explaining this concept to him. And he said to me, he said, well, it must be that the ink, it's anything low current. That's why they use LEDs for everything. LEDs require really, really low current. If it were like a normal wire or a normal like D-cell battery, the kids can't touch a live wire. Obviously, they're going to get shocked. But because this is low current, that's why it's able to go on a piece of paper. It doesn't get hot. We all know LED bulbs. I'm sure you've touched an LED bulb versus a basic fluorescent bulb, LED bulbs don't get hot. That's the neat thing about this, is that it literally is so low current that it can just stay in a kid's notebook.
Also,
Wow.
magnetic that snap right into your circuit. No gluing, no soldering, just plug and play.
So that's where he's showing the magnets and how the module goes on top of the paper and then the magnet goes underneath. And he describes how a lot of other companies require you to glue them down and it's messy and it has to dry, or they involve soldering, or it's just too complicated for kids.
I feel like that would have been useful when I was in high school. We had to create things in my tech ed class, and we had to use tools that you can't use in elementary tools to like just build whatever he was asking you to build. But this seems like it's so easy and just it's not dangerous for younger children.
Mm-hmm.
It's and again, that was, I hadn't realized. I'm really glad that my dad brought it up to me. I mean, they discuss it in depth in here that it's low current, but it hadn't occurred to me that because it's low current, because it operates with LED devices, that's why kids are able to just, it's on their paper, it's in their notebook. And that's what they were about to show in the video. It literally shows a kid's note page. And this is one of the coolest applications that I think it is. It's literally the notes in the kid's binder, and it's like, this is what a circuit is, and it's the definition. And then the circuit is right there. So instead of having this abstract concept of the lights and the wires and the wall, you literally have it in your notebook. You can take it home to your parents and be like, look what I made today. It lights up. And then he discusses, this is one of the applications of using it for art projects and making them interactive. So you have, like, they made birthday cards, and we have the singing birthday cards. You have, and they made birthday cards that light up because they put the electron ink circuit that they drew with a pen behind the card face, and then they put it together, and then when someone opens it, it connects the circuit, and you have a birthday card that lights up. So I think it just has so many applications, and it just amazed me, honestly and truly. So
That kind of
how would
reminds
it be?
me.
Go ahead, Allie.
I'm sorry. No, I was just thinking about like the Scratch programming and stuff like that. If it'd be, you could have like a similar application with that, maybe like a physical version of the Scratch programming.
Yeah,
Like,
you can have, I don't know if they have any kind of, I don't think so. They don't have any kind of like moving modules like fans or anything like that, but they have buzzers. So I mean, you could have kids, like if you wanted to do a drama lesson and the kids, you wanted them to have sounds in the middle of their drama lesson, have them put, and this is cross-curricular, you're crossing science with your English, with your drama, with your writing, everything connects. And you have the kids have a sound in the middle of their drama presentation, or you make up one real quick that when the kids are playing a Jeopardy game, that's their little buzzer. Now I don't know how loud they are, but
that's what
that's their little buzzer, is they connect the circuit. What'd you say?
I was just thinking of that with like a Jeopardy game.
Yeah.
They could their buzzers.
That'd be really neat. I feel like that'd be fun. And it's not just, oh, this is a cute technology we get to use in school. They're learning how the circuits connect to each other. So just to go over this real quick, I said the most critical use is providing students with the opportunity to explore circuits at a younger age and in easier ways. It's not just, we did this in like high school physics, or we did it one time in middle school. It is applicable all the way down to kindergartners doodling on a paper. If you understand what I'm saying, it's literally just draw something on the paper, put a battery on one end of the circuit, and put a light on the other two connecting ends. And then schools don't need to purchase bulky breadboards. And then I talked about how I loved that they can put it directly in their notes and take it home with them. On a large scale, it is affordable. On a personal scale, like for me to buy some, not at all. But like on a large scale for schools, it's pretty cost effective. And then lessons with circuits become differentiated because students can physically draw the circuits that they want. It's not wires and batteries and trying to get the alligator clips to clip onto the side of the light bulb or anything like that. It's literally just draw what you want. So you can have kids get creative. Draw a roller coaster on the paper using the pen, and then at the end they have a light, or in the middle they have a buzzer. They can get really, really creative with that. So I was quite amazed.
I think it'd be cool like that that just makes them so much more interested, and it brings out their creativity. Instead of saying, oh, here's a lesson, you guys figure it out, it's more of, hey guys, look what I got, you have to draw today, and actually learn something, and you're going to keep it in your minds because it's so cool, instead of them just creating some circuit and they're not really interested in it as much.
Right.
I agree. So my last question, I know we're kind of running close on time. Is there any way that you think the two of these could be used together? Could you combine Zaption with electron links?
Well, if you wanted to do like an introduction on circuits and or something like that with Zaption, then I could definitely see you being able to do that. You could have like an introductory video on circuits and the electronics, and then here, let's try using them. Because the students would be so interested, that could almost be kind of a hook, is having an introductory video using Zaption, get them interested and be like, look, we have this tool available for you to use, now let's try using it.
I totally agree. I think one of the coolest things would be like a step-by-step. So like each caption that pops up on Zaption, it's kind of hard to say together, but each caption on Zaption could end up being a step in the process of creating their first circuit. It's either me, I'm assuming that because, like, I'm thinking even more in depth, you can create a screencast of you using the pen, put that on your YouTube, put the YouTube onto Zaption, and then walk your kids through you literally creating the circuit for them and then have them create the same thing. Or even Leah was talking earlier with Zaption that it's something you can send home on snow days. And this would even work because they can take the electronic stuff home, they can watch a Zaption on creating the next circuit in the process, and I mean it all fits together.
Yeah.
I think something else off of that, between the two, I feel like you could have like a history of circuits and where they started and how far they've come today, because honestly, I never really saw that one coming, where you could literally draw on a piece of paper and make a circuit. Like, my dad's in engineering and that kind of thing, I feel like he'd be like, oh my goodness, because like when I was in elementary school and I did science fair, I tried to make circuits and it didn't really go well because the materials for it were so out of my understanding almost, that I feel like this would just be, it's so much more, like, students are capable of grasping this more. And like, you could also do something with them where, like, if you had students the previous year do some, you could probably like take pictures of them and show the students what other students have created so that they can get more interested in it.
Yeah.
Or even keep them, since I mean writing them on pieces of paper, just save the piece of paper and take maybe the components off and then pass them out the next year and be like, here's what other students have created, what would you change about it? Because I'm assuming it's a pen, you could add on to the circuit itself. That'd be pretty cool. So
Yeah.
anything else for anybody?
I think that the only like major obstacle with that is the cost, honestly. Just the cost of the electronic, just because it's so expensive.
Well,
like, I mean, it's feasible for a school, like you said, just like individually, it's pricey.
well, and I feel like it's also getting the school on board to invest the money in it, because I feel that it's, we were talking about how much science and social studies has gotten pushed to the back burner because of standardized testing and Common Core, and they want reading and literature and math to be at the forefront because you got to get that ready for the test. So I think it would be harder to, not necessarily hard for the school to afford it, but hard for the school to want to spend the money on it to begin with. But I think if you could prove, just like we've been talking about, the multitude of different applications that it has, why not?
Yeah.
I think the only like drawback that I'm really thinking of, like we were talking about like kindergartners using it, if they're using it and doodling, like, I personally as a teacher would worry that they're going to overuse it, use it in the wrong way, and like, all I'm wondering about is like, is it like the ink that costs more and like you just buy new pens, or I don't really understand like how that works. And I feel like if it's like the ink, it's going to run out by students fooling around with it. And I feel like if you explain it to them, they're going to understand. But you know, you're going to have those kids that are just like drawing crazy across the page, not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Maybe at the younger grades, maybe it would be better for small group instruction. So you pull 3 or 4 kids together and say, we're going to do this today, and we're going to work together on this, and then you work through it with them. It's like we reread the articles on instituting iPads in the classroom, and it was saying that a lot of the first grade teachers were really wary of letting first graders run free in a classroom with an iPad and an $800 piece of technology, which is even more so than a little pen.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same concept. If you sit the kids down and you talk them through, this is how we use this, you're teaching a social skill right there. So, I
Mhm.
mean, it's got a lot of applications, but I agree. It definitely at the younger grades would take a lot more structure, scaffolding, modeling, whichever, to fully institute. So, good job, everybody.
All right.
Leah, you want to take us out?
Yep. Thanks for joining us in our Google Hangout. Sorry we had a little bit of technical difficulties there, but I think we all did pretty good. All right. Bye.